Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. If you are new to the channel, welcome back. If you love me, I love you too. We are here for the new moon in Leo. Now, I will have timestamps in the comments if you are currently watching the replay so that you can jump around if you'd like. The secret code names that you can resonate to are Tea Party, La Magique de Parfum, Golden Meadow, and Winter's Mark. All right, those are the 4 secret code names: Tea Party, La Magique de Parfum, Golden Meadow, and Winter's Mark. All right, everything will be in the comments. Hey Rita, how you doing? And I will be doing pineapple charms as well. So if one of these secret code names is not your personal reading, personal reading meaning you went to my Etsy shop and purchased a secret code name, okay? It is your personal reading if you went to my Etsy shop and purchased a secret code name for the event and I gave you the secret code name. All right, Tea Party belongs to someone, La Magique de Parfum belongs to someone, Golden Meadow belongs to someone, Winter's Mark belongs to someone, okay? If you did not personally buy one but are drawn to a secret code name, there's more than likely a message in there for you. I'm going to pull the pineapple charms as double or triple confirmation that you are absolutely meant to watch the reading you were guided to, and take it as it resonates for you, that you are not incorrect in the way you're taking it. All right. Now, if none of the pineapple charms resonate with you, that's fine. You didn't need a spiritual bitch slap that said pay attention. Okay? You didn't need the spiritual bitch slap that said pay attention. Some of us do. All right. Some of the viewers, some of the people that watch or cross this message in divine time will need that spiritual slap. Pay attention. So that's what pineapple charming is for. It could definitely be a message in and of itself for you. So we will take them as they resonate. For the readings, I will be using the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle by Kelly T. Smith, as well as the Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck. All right. By John Holland. Those are where the readings are going to come through. This is the Heart of God Manifest themed readings. Which is interesting because over the last 48 hours, I listen to all kinds of stuff while I'm at my day job. And I find myself, if I'm not bopping off to like late 90s, 2000s pop music, I find myself listening to people interpreting scripture or the different books that are not considered a part of the Christian canon of faith, right? Different things like understanding the different choirs of angels, right? And the different history behind it all, right? Or the different prophecy behind it all. Nephilim and Seraphim and Ophanim and all kinds of stuff. I listen to all kinds of stuff to do with it. And it was exceptionally heavy over the last 48 hours. And in between, of course, I'm listening to Robert Phoenix Astrology. I even tuned into the Leo King because I really like when he has those discussions with Rich Lopp. And if you're familiar with the Leo King, then you should probably go watch the different awakenings that he's been doing with Rich Lopp, L-O-P-P. He's really good. And I've been tuned into a couple things, and today, when I tell you, because I don't have anything in my birth chart in Aries, which is where North Node, Chiron, and Eris are all conjuncting in trine to this Venus, Sun, Moon, Lilith, Vulcan conjunction going on in Leo. Okay, my Aries and Leo houses are empty. However, that super powered trine energy going on between the two of them is absolutely trining on all of my Sagittarian stellium. Okay. And thank God it is not exact. Like my Uranus is getting the brunt of it. My other Mercury, Saturn, and Sun placements are a little earlier on in the sign, so they're not like getting nailed. But the Uranus energy, right? I spent probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half, closer to 2 hours today. I left work early. I put in PTO to get out of work early. 5 whole hours early. Just felt it as soon as I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, at like the peak of this new moon energy here in the CDT time zone. And was like, I'm gonna need a few extra hours. I'm gonna need more than just the 2 hours of PTO I originally put in. I ended up putting in 3 more hours, and I'm glad I did, because all of this Leo energy is literally combating an opposition, focusing on integration with my Jupiter and Aqua in my 8th house. And I spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours just crying over humanity, for humanity, for the earth. Like, I was having a moment and a half earlier, to the point that I literally was like, I'm going to spend a couple hours taking a nap. I'm going to sleep and do my best to reset. So I did. I slept a couple hours and woke up just a little bit better, and spent another 2 hours trying to convince myself to be on this live. I have never not been here for a scheduled moon event. And the energy was so overwhelming, especially because I still have Pluto in opposition to my moon. Okay. Like, for all of you that don't know what I've been dealing with astrologically, I've had Pluto in Capricorn literally opposing my natal moon at 29 degrees Cancer for the last almost 2 years. And I still got like another year and a half of its shit. So, in the midst of everything else, right, that factor is still there for me. And it was really interesting today. It was really interesting today, convincing myself to go live. I was skimming through X, which is the new name for Twitter, right? Elon Musk rebranded Twitter as X. And I rarely ever go on there and skim through anything, but I came across a quote unquote tweet. I don't know if we're still calling them tweets if it's not Twitter, but that said, sometimes you don't feel like it, but you have to push through anyway. You must. And I thought, okay. All right, Spirit, like the synchronicity, right? The synchronicity of pushing forward, even though it feels really hard. And that might have a lot to do with the energies coming out of this moon. Because like I said, I don't actually have any placements in Aries or Leo. So I'm kind of just really feeling the raw energy of that coming from the cosmos, right? It's just really raw in my chart right now, right? That I'm having those 2 houses lit up, and there's not anything else in there influencing those energies. So I was feeling it. And I think collectively, especially with the North Node Eris and Chiron being that Arian conjunction, I think a lot of people with that energy trining on this Leo energy, right? All this Leo energy that's going on, are really feeling almost like that rage, right? Yeah, your moon. Yeah, Christine, I feel you. I think there's this real undercurrent. Of rage. There's this yod that happened with the moon as it continued to go through the day. It ended up hitting, 27 degrees Leo at some point, and was creating a yod aimed at Neptune, right? It has this yod going on with the Libra South node aimed at Neptune. And so there's this emotional place of wanting to feel grateful and being humbled by imbalance in order to truly see and reveal the illusion and the delusion going on with Neptune and Pisces. I think the closer Neptune gets to leaving Pisces, and it's at 27 degrees right now, given it will still take some time, but I feel like the closer it gets to this anaretic degree, the more clearly people are going to be seeing what is going on in the reality. Now, I've read and watched a bunch of shit on this new moon from other astrologers, and some of it I could tell who just reads the major planets and who looks at asteroids, because if they're not talking about Lilith and they're talking about all this wonderful, abundance and fortune and love and all this shit, I'm like, you are not paying attention to Eris. You're not paying attention to Chiron. You're not paying attention to Lilith. Like, you are not paying attention. You are not paying attention, because all of those things are possible coming out of this new moon. Don't get me wrong, but it is not without some serious grit, to put it lightly. Lilith is the dark side of the moon that we never see, right? She is the dark black moon. And when you put her with a new moon conjunction, right, they're all conjunct 23 degrees, Vulcan's there, like that's some magic shit. And Venus is retrograding, still hiding. It's still hidden by this overpowering sun, right? It's still hidden. It hasn't come out to be seen yet. That won't happen for almost another week, just under a week. So we have this hidden heart space. We have this black moon Lilith, which is this rebel, right? This real rebellious, whole within myself, I will not be controlled energy, being magnified by the moon, which is what it is, right? It's just being empowered by the moon and the sun. So if you think about black moon and the dark side of the moon, we also have this black sun kind of energy, right? This black sun with Lilith there, this bleed into, this energetic bleed kind of conjunction. And it's squaring Uranus. It's got an exact square with Uranus at 23 degrees in Taurus. And whenever you have squares in a chart, and this is what people take this information and apply to your own chart as well, because squares indicate where the negative attributes of signs come out. If Uranus and Taurus, which is a radical, unpredictable reality, the thunder and lightning, right, kind of epiphany, which in its shadow is like the rug getting pulled out, right? The rug getting pulled out, people getting blindsided. You have that energy in its darkness squaring off against Leo's shadow, the sun dignified in Leo, right? At its home in Leo, which is ego and pride and control and power, right? It's a my way or the highway kind of negative aspect, right? We're not talking about the positive attributes. We're talking about the shadows, because they're in square. They're in square. So people who are greatly affected directly by these placements, this 23 degree mark, right? And fixed signs, because you're going to be feeling it if you got anything around 23 degrees Aqua. You're going to be feeling it if you got anything around 23 degrees Scorpio. Okay. This energy is trying to grip and grab for control in order to keep things the way they want it, in order to keep things the quote unquote same. Gripping for control and doing things radically, pulling the rug out from other people to do it. The challenge with the square is to resist it, to resist the shadow. If you're going to rise above this challenge, you really do got to focus on that Chiron Eris North Node conjunction trining from Aries, and be really humble. Accept that whatever has been given was meant to be given, and the discord is just triggering up for you to see your own darkness, right? Your own false weaknesses, so that you can recognize your true strengths, right? This is about being humble, the light of Leo. This is about being grateful, the light of Leo. This is about being steady and solid and enduring the situation, the light of Taurean energy, right? This is about seeing revelation in the mirror of things, right? The light of Uranus. This is about allowing who you were in your best light to shine for itself and continue to shine elsewhere, right? As this sun moves away off of this square, and so does the moon, right? This is about, especially because relationships, if you're not currently in one, this would not be the time to start one. But if you are in one, and the relationship is already not that healthy, or it's on again, off again, has been on again, off again, or, it goes through moments where it feels great, but it's mostly toxic. Like, this is that time where you find gratitude for what's been and let it go and take a break, right? And take a break and create some space, because with Venus retrograding, any quote unquote breakup that happens right now, it probably is not the end of it. Okay, retrogrades don't tend to stick, right? So just like relationships coming together at this point, or marriages happening around right now, are not likely to stick, breakups are not likely to stick either. Okay, it would actually probably be a really healthy thing to just accept that maybe some time and space can create some appreciation and gratitude, and you can revisit it later on. Okay, this is definitely a time to look into loving the self and being proud of yourself for what you've done and how far you've come, and to not thwart that growth because other people may be stubborn or resistant, right? Which is also Taurian shadow. So if people are being stubborn, if people are being resistant, if they're too proud, right? If they're too proud to walk away, if there's too much nostalgia or history between the two of you, and no matter how toxic it gets, you don't want to let go of the investment of the history, right? Too stubborn to let it go. This is one of those times where you probably really should, because if Venus goes direct, right, and it will at some point, it's going to go direct, right? I believe it's the 3rd of September. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Once Venus goes direct, like if you push this energy out and drag it out too long and Venus goes direct, if you guys break up at that point, chances are it's going to stick, so there's this window of let it go before it's too late, because if you hold on too tightly too long, you'll choke it out. You know what I mean? It's that kind of energy. There needs to be some time for reflection. There's got to be some time for reflection, especially because this conjunction, if you guys can see, I'll hold it up to the camera. It's from my phone, so it is what it is. There's this interesting Kenka undecile, okay, is what it's called. It's the 11th harmonic. Is it Kenka? No, triundecile. Forgive me. It's a triple undecile, which is the 11th harmonic to the 3rd degree. So it's a 33, right? It's a master number 33 coming from the 11th harmonic from Jupiter in Taurus to Leo. Okay. So we have all this crazy Uranus square energy, and Jupiter is in there allowing you this blessing when you accept that you are both the teacher and the student, and the universe is trying to teach you something, right? The universe is trying to teach you something. For me, I have some crazy shit, right, from Taurus going off in my 11th house. Going off in my 11th house, aspecting on my 2nd house, right, which is my Leo house, is my 2nd house because I'm a Cancer rising. So keep in mind where these energies are in your chart, right? Even my Aryan energy, it's my 10th house technically, with whole sign astrology, but it is most definitely in the very beginning degrees of my 11th house, because my 11th house has Taurus intercepted in there. So it starts with Aries, Taurus is wedged in there, and then it moves to Gemini, and I'm in Gemini 12th house. Interesting. I have interesting charts. Anyway, keep in mind where these placements are in your chart, because it's likely going to be hitting you in those areas, right? It's likely going to be hitting you in those areas. Find some gratitude. If you've got to let it go temporarily, let it go temporarily. It's okay, right? Just know that it will come back around. Okay? Know that it will come back around, and things will be better if you just let it be. Okay? You got to do what is best for you. Stressing through it is not going to help you or anyone. All right? So, with that said, and it being 22:22 on the timer, let's get into the pineapple charms. All right. Let's get pineapple charming. Pineapple charms. Timestamp that. Okay. What is going on, please, Spirit? That whoever needs these charms can't miss the message that they would be receiving. I feel like there's more. Okay. There we go. All right. My pin board. Okay. We've got, now mind you, one of them can resonate with you. Multiple ones can resonate with you. They can resonate with you in any way that absolutely makes sense to you. If it doesn't resonate, nothing is going to click with you right away. Okay? That's fine. You might rewatch this in hindsight and be like, oh my God, right? Now I get it. Because maybe you don't have a tattoo of something, but you've been having it cross your path and synchronizing, right? Maybe someone mentions the word. So take these as they resonate with you. If anything comes out of my mouth, take it as a sync, right? Take it as a sync. So I could even say like weird words that, you know, I might say it in a certain way, but it hits you as a second meaning. Like, what would be a good example? What would be a good example? Words that have double meanings. Like I could be talking about Give me something in the chat, guys. I'm drawing such a blank. What is a word that has dual meanings? Let me see here. Okay, here's one, like crab. I could be talking about a crab, right? And Cancerian energy. Cancer, right? I could be saying something about Cancer and Cancerian energy, but you may be talking to someone who has cancer or was recently diagnosed with it, or it's been coming up on your feed, right? So words with dual meanings. If I say something and it resonates with you in a different way, then it resonates with you how it's meant to. Okay, Spirit will have me say all kinds of shit for God knows who. I mean, I don't know why Spirit has me say what the heck it has me say most of the time. Okay, I just open channel. Okay, first charm. We've got ping pong. We've got ping pong, which I believe the immediate thought I got was China. So yeah, take it as it resonates. But we've got ping pong. We've got hot sauce. You or someone you know might be one of those people that has to put hot sauce on everything. Or maybe you've just been craving it lately. I've also got a camera. You know what, Rita? Yeah, I couldn't think of it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. And I was like, Spirit probably already told me. And I looked down at the charms and I was like, oh, that's it. Right. So we've got a camera. Let's see. That could also be like, because it's photos, but it could also be like Photoshop. It could also be different things that you would record or video, right? Cameras. I've got the purple donut. Purple's my favorite color, and I love blackberry. Plus, rainbow sprinkles are fucking bomb. So, let's see what else I've got here. I've got the unicorn. There's a few in this in Pineapple Charming, but I love that one. I've also got the heart, the golden heart. And it's a heart within a heart. I do have the crab. I cook really good sauteed soft shell crabs. Y'all don't even know. I'm a fucking cook. My Cancer moon and Cancer rising. Girl knows how to cook. We've also got a pineapple. Okay. We've also got a Christmas tree. So you could be born around the holidays. You could be a Sag Cappy cusp. Christmas might be your favorite holiday. This could be when a lot of this energy starts to manifest for you. Okay, we've also got the bee, which I believe just came out in my Divine Rebel members, their last personal reading on Sunday. I think the bee came out for them as well. Shout out to all my Divine Rebel diamonds. I love y'all. Any of you that aren't one, should consider it, especially because, we're rocking diamonds right here. We got the black diamond right here. We've also got the bat synchronicities. Also could be sonar. And having to navigate through the dark, right? Navigating blind. I've also got my Catholic rosaries charm. Okay. I've got, this is a haunted house. So you may have strong scorpionic energy, love Halloween. Could also be an October Libra, but that is my haunted house. Next to Christmas and Thanksgiving. I mean, Halloween, I love that. I love the end of the year. I can't help it. I was talking to my coworker about this. You could take this as part of the Pineapple Charming message. But when I was younger, I was diagnosed manic depressive, and it was seasonal, right? The doctor told me it was seasonal. And in hindsight, thinking about my astrology, because I always got crazy manic hitting around October, going through the holidays in the winter. And then once February hit and had passed, I was completely done, right? I was completely done and in my lower energy for the rest of the year. And I thought about it and I was like, all of my placements are wedged between 22 degrees Libra and 2 degrees Capricorn. And then I have my Jupiter at 12 degrees Aqua, and then the rest of my chart's pretty much blank. I have almost everything wedged inside that little 2-house plus a tad, right? That 22 degrees Libra, it's almost all in Scorpio and Sag, and then I have a 2-degree Neptune. The only other placements I have are my 12-degree Aqua and my 29-degree Cancer moon. So I was like, no wonder why, because the sun is literally lighting up all those placements. Right? So I'm crazy manic in the winter, in the fall and in the winter. And then I'm just like, I want to be lazy and sleep all day on the beach in the summer. That's just where I go. So, you know, the haunted house also reminds me of NF, right? The artist, well, rapper NF, and his Mansion album. If you're not familiar with NF, even if you don't like rap and it's not your thing, I think you would genuinely appreciate NF. He's really fucking good. All right. Continuing. I've also got my Star Wars R2D2 charm. Okay. I wish that camera picked that charm up better. I do. You can kind of see it says Star Wars on the back on the other side. Boop. Might be a huge Star Wars fan, or at the very least like R2D2 and C3PO. I've also got cherries. Okay. I love cherries, personally. I've got the Lover's card. So you may be Mercury strong in your chart. You may also be strong Geminian energy, or even Virgo for that matter, especially. And I thought about that. Like, people always talk about the Lover's card being Gemini, right? Because of the twins on the card. But the angel between them is technically very, very Virgo. And it is the 6th card, and Virgo rules the 6th house. So the Lover's card, where we're choosing, might be Virgo lessons, going back and teaching or challenging Geminian lessons, right? Especially because they're naturally in square to each other. And I thought about that today. So the Lover's card, and then we've got letters. We've got letters. I didn't pull out any signs. Now, the letters, you can take them as specifics with colors. Okay, I have blue for male and pink for female. Okay, I also have white for masculine and black for feminine, right? Yin yang. But that is just if you want to get real specific. Otherwise, the letters are just the letters. All right, I don't have any blue ones, but I do have pink ones. I've got JRX in pink. In black, I have JAB. And in white, I have double R's. Okay, RR. So I've got 3 R's out in total and 2 J's. It's interesting. One says jab. So if you got the jabby jab and you've been having some kind of thoughts about it recently, right? And I'm not saying this is a sync for you if me saying it brings it up and you got it. I mean, if you got it and you've been actively thinking about it recently, right? The fact that you've gotten it. What else? I've also got back, so it reminds me of Baxter. I've got jar here, so you might also have jar or even Jared, right? Could be a part of the name, but you might also have like if you're into spell jars, that might be a sign that either your spell jar is working or that you need to get rid of it. You'll know depending on how me talking about it resonated with you. Right, time to let the spell jar go. And I've also got bar, BAR and BARR. So you might be taking a bar exam. You might have been frequenting a bar lately. I'm hearing if you've been frequenting a bar lately, it might be a good idea to change that habit. Something about it that needs to change. Maybe go home a little earlier, go with different people, go to a different bar. I don't know. Stop drinking. That would be my recommendation as a straight edge person, right? You don't need the bar. Or if you're straight edge like me, you may have been really contemplating why. With all the shit that I was processing through today, I straight up was like, why the fuck am I sober? When I was crying over humanity and the world and the state that it's in, I was like, Jesus Christ, like how hard it is like to not drink. Like I understand why some of y'all do. Like life is fucking crazy. Life is fucking crazy. I get it. I fucking get it. All right. So those are the charms, right? You can take them as they resonate. A, R. You could also have like initials or abbreviations or things like that with different states or countries that you live in. So, like I said, take these as they resonate for you. I don't filter what comes out of my mouth because, well, Spirit would have me with no filter. For whatever reason, I have no filter. Thank you guys for everyone who's left me comments and dropped likes so far. I love you and appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. All right. So now the pineapple charms are done. And I've talked about the cosmic alignments. We're officially getting into the secret code names. Yeah. First one is Tea Party, then La Magique de Parfum, Golden Meadow, and Winter's Mark. They will be done in that order. Again, there will be timestamps with all of this stuff in the comments after. Okay, once I'm done recording, I will go back, put them in the comments. It'll either be from me, Miss of Magic Rising, or Violet Aurora Myths, which is my second YouTube account. Okay, whenever you see Violet Aurora Myths, that's me. Note, I will never reach out to any of you guys for readings or asking you for money or personal information. All right. So if anybody does that, it's a scam. It's not me. Okay. It's not me. All right. Let's get into these messages. Heart of God manifest. Because what's coming out of this energy, it might be extremely difficult to move through, but the blessings are equal to the difficulty in getting there. So golden Leo lining, right? All right. Secret codename Tea Party. And those who are drawn to it. What would Spirit have you know? What insight at this time on what this new moon energy looks like as it's clean slating for you, right? New moons are clean slates in which we manifest from. So what do you need to know surrounding the clean slating going on, especially over the next couple weeks as we hit the next full moon, right? We're going to have a full moon on the 31st of August. The second full moon this month. What is going on for secret codename Tea Party? Okay. I got one. The one that flew was the death card. That was the release card. So you might have super strong Scorpio energy in your chart. And if you do, I would not be surprised if your Scorpio energy is really trying to integrate the Taurean reality, right? The Taurean reality and all of this ego, pride, and trying to control things and have it go a certain way is a real distraction, right? Because that would be causing a T-square between the integration going on with your Taurus and Scorpio energy. So if you have really strong Scorpionic energy, you're working on the integration, right? That's the focus, and all the Leo energy would be a major, major distraction. Ego, pride, control, all of that, right? Feeling angry that things didn't necessarily work out a certain way. So you might really... and you really can't get sucked into the tea, right? The fucking tea, right? We always talk about, what's the tea? What's the tea? Like really try and detach from the different drama going on in your psyche, and maybe have a nice relaxing cup of tea and recenter so that you can process through the changes that are going on in the reality and within yourself, right? That you are not the same, that reality is shifting and changing with you, right? This was the main card that flew out. Then we also got this wonderful chunkiness. Got this wonderful chunkiness, and I was told to keep it. So we've got flow, which is the Wheel of Fortune. So that's Jupiter, right? You may have a Jupiter in Scorpio, which is going through a major integration with the Jupiter and Taurus energy. We've also got Seek the Truth, which is the Seven of Swords. That's Aqua Moon energy. We've also got the Moon card, Confront. So you might have a really strong moon placement, especially if it's in a fixed sign, including Scorpio, right? We've also got the Temperance card, so Sagittarian energy. We've got the Six of Cups here, and then we've also got the Three of Cups. So lots of water energy, right? Lots of water. With these cards, I think you're shedding an old definition of self, an old identity, old labels. And when you shed labels, I think it's important to recognize the fact that you're shedding the way that people depend on you per those labels. Right. So when we shed labels, we're releasing how people depend on our energy. Right. If we have the label of mom, then we're shedding, right? Then we're shedding that codependence of our children, right? We might be dealing with children who are out of the home and still want us to be mom, but they're out of the home, right? They're adult. Yeah, they're living on their own, but they still want you to be mom, or they're out of the home. They don't need you to be mom, but you're still struggling to let go of that label and wanting to be mom for them, right? When they're a grown adult. So it could be no different with people that we live with, right? Whether they're partners or roommates or whatever the situation is, right? If you remove the label, stripping away the label removes the codependence that's been created surrounding those labels. And so with this card, I feel like there's a major release going on around labels. And I think you're going to feel a lot lighter and more relaxed once you do. I think you're going to have a revelatory moment if you're not already having it with this reading, to see exactly where your energy is draining out, right? Because we have this double portal energy, right? Because things are definitely changing. The Jupiter integration, right? Especially if you do have a Jupiter opposition going on right now with your natal Jupiter and the Jupiter in Taurus, or if you're just going through challenges, right? Fixed sign Jupiters in general. But I think that things are most definitely changing. The flow of things are moving in your favor. And I feel like that's coming through this recognition of truth, right? We have this portal here where the veil is being ripped away. And then we have this portal here. And it's almost like one is looking into the other, right? Because this is like a darker arena looking into the light. And so it's almost like the shadow here is this figure here on the other side of the portal, and in the light is this grown adult looking into the darkness, right? So you might be a grown feminine or have blonde hair, right? And be in your shadow looking into your masculine energy and who you could be in your strength. And the challenge is actually seeing that you as an adult are still dealing with childhood shadows, right? And this is the integration kind of going on with these two cards. There's some truth seeking that's being done and confronting wounds that were never truly addressed and maybe buried, right? Especially because the death card is scorpionic, and scorpionic energy, we tend to bury it, right? It rules the 8th house. The 8th house deals with legacy. It deals with ancestry. It deals with, things like money and inheritance, but more so ancestral karma, right? The things that go on in the deep, dark waters of the self and what's down there, right? If you think about the bottom of the ocean, right? The black bottom of the ocean, we have a lot of scavenger type energy. We also have sharks type energy. So, I mean, when you think about that metaphorically with the self, there's this survival need, right? This predatory need, but this also accepting of crumbs, right? This childhood shadow that accepts the crumbs and thrives and feeds off the crumbs in this dark, cold, intense pressure, right? Intense pressure underneath. And so it's almost like releasing a pressure valve, right? Once you identify what the wound is and where you're accepting crumbs and where you're putting yourself under a lot of pressure, specifically with labels, right? I'm being really drawn to the idea of labels. Putting yourself under a lot of pressure to fulfill the needs of certain labels. I think once you take the label off, it's going to be like releasing a pressure valve, and all of that pressure is going to start to alleviate once you let go of the pressure of the label, right? Where you accept crumbs from yourself, where you tell yourself that accepting energetic crumbs when you're giving full-blown meals to people of energy, like literally energetic meals, you're showcasing like 3-course meals of energy and then accepting crumbs in return and putting yourself under a lot of pressure to keep doing that. And that pressure needs to be allowed to right? Just be released. You need to allow the pressure to come off. And we have these cup cards over here, right? The 6 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. We were talking about ancestral energy. And this is masculine energy, right? Which isn't necessarily male, although it can be. But it's masculine. It's one way of doing, right? Masculine energy is the yang, the doing, the choice making, willpower, drive, determination, action oriented aspect of the self. It is the one that chooses, right? Our yin, our feminine, does not choose. It feels about what the masculine chooses. And so your children are going to be learning from how you choose, right? They're learning how to choose based on what you're choosing. You learned what to choose based on how your parents were choosing. And so this is about what kind of actions do you want your children to replicate? And as an adult masculine now, right, your own masculine energy being more mature, now you are more able to discern and choose what it is you want to do versus what you were taught to do, right? The embrace of the inner child, right? Where you are not separate from your shadow, but embracing the fact that, you know, there were things that you were taught or passed down that in the realm of nurturance, right? In the realm of nurturance, especially if you've got like crazy scorpionic energy in your chart, and your moon placement, especially if your moon is like water, right? Nurturance. You were taught, right, a certain way to be, a certain way to nurture, especially if it comes to when it comes to generations. And you're going to be teaching others to do the same thing. What do you want to teach them, right? This is where you have to decide, what do you really want to teach them? I'm getting this this analogy, so take it as it resonates, and then I'm going to pull from the intuitive life coaching oracle. But I'm getting this kind of message of, like, when we deal with elderly parents, right? Sometimes living with your parents when they're in their old age is great. You know, sometimes they might be 97, but they're still whipping around like they're fucking 70. You know, and it's one thing. And maybe they took care of their parents, right? In old age, they took care of their parents, and maybe their parents were really sickly and they took care of them into their old age. And maybe you as a child grew up with your grandparents living in the home or being taken care of in some which way, shape, or form. And maybe you watched it be a burden on your parents to do that. But, you know, it was taught, but they're family, they're my parents. I would never let them this or that. I could never put them in a home. I could never, you know, whatever. I'm taking care of them, right? And that's the responsibility you learned watching your parents do that for your grandparents. Maybe now you're in a situation where you're taking care of your parents as an adult, and your children are watching you do that, and they're watching you be burdened, and they're watching you be stressed because you were taught, well, it's family. We take care of family. We don't put them in a home, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's extremely stressful, intense, and, you know, you're submitting to the label, right? Submitting to the label of, that's my parent, I'm their daughter, right? I'm their son or whatever. And would you want your kids to be burdened or stressed out by you in your old age? Like, that's the question. Do you want them repeating that just because you're their mom or their dad or whatever, right? Just because you're their parent. Do you really want your kids stressed or burdened having to take care of you? You know, and I've thought about it myself. I told my son straight up, I said, if I can't take care of my fucking self, if I can't take care of my dang self to where you feel like you have to take care of me, I was like, put me in a home. I said, put me in a home. Like, do not spend any portion of your life stressed out or burdened or limited because you feel the need that you have to take care of me. Like, I'm just a soul in the world. You don't even look at me like your mom. Like, I know you love me. You putting me in a home has nothing to do with the fact that you don't love me. And I know that, right? And I love you, which is why I don't want you to be burdened, right? I'm not so selfish that I would be unable to take care of myself and put that on you, right? Which is why I focus on my health like I do, because I'm going to put off being in a home as long as fucking possible. I'll die a whippersnapper in my fucking sleep. But that's my point, you know what I mean? Especially if it comes to third parties. Like, these third parties are in your reality to help you mend parts of your heart space that were broken, right? Healing certain connections going on, right, within the self. The heart space has a crack there. Right, let me get my card holder so it zooms in correctly. Right? The heart space was cracked and broken. But that's what you're healing here, right? The heart space, the harmony between your own masculine and feminine energy, you being in union with yourself, right? This is about you releasing codependency because you have unresolved childhood shadows, right? Unresolved childhood shadows surrounding the different water going on in your chart, the Sagittarius going on in your chart, your Jupiter placement, right? Because that was banged out twice, Jupiter and Sag, right? And we've got this double moon energy, right? Because 7 of Swords is Aqua Moon. Your energy's draining somewhere. The wound is bleeding and it's not getting stitches. It's just bleeding. It's just bleeding. It's energetically draining. Right? It's making you feel tired. It's putting you under a lot of pressure. It's putting you under a lot of pressure. I think you really have to let the labels, the dependency on the labels go, and not just from other people, but them with you. You know what I mean? Especially if you have this window where it could possibly come back together later and have a better option. You know, I would really, really take into consideration some options and actually allow yourself to humbly create those changes so that you're not trying to over control to the point of a tower moment. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to over control it to the point of having a tower moment, especially because Judgment's on the top with the Hermit card on the bottom, right? You don't want the universe to make the judgment call against Scorpionic energy, Virgo energy here, feeling like you have to be perfect, right? Where does that come from? Because the more you try and be perfect, I think the more the universe is going to make the situation very imperfect. And when you accept that you don't have to be perfect and embrace quote unquote imperfection, the reality will actually become more perfect, quote unquote perfect. All right. So let's get a guidance card for you from the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. What message of guidance or affirmation would Spirit have for you? Celebration. take time out to celebrate. Take time out. It's your life. Take time out to celebrate your life. Celebrate your accomplishments. Celebrate what you've achieved. Celebrate how far you've come, right? Celebrate where you know you're heading. Celebrate where you know you're heading. Let me read a little bit of this for you. It says, whatever you're doing, this card showed up today to congratulate you on something you are doing right. Focus on all the things that we need to do and forget about how much it is far too easy to focus on all the things we need to do and forget about how much we actually accomplished. You have worked hard to get where you are. Consider this as a confirmation that you're where you're supposed to be. Today is a day of celebrating, and we're celebrating you. It says, intuitive life coaching questions to ask yourself. It says, what have you accomplished that you are not celebrating? What holds you back from acknowledging this accomplishment? What successful outcome are you wanting or working to create? Can you imagine the outcome in this moment, even if its completion is still a long way away? What have you accomplished that you're not giving yourself credit for? Maybe, right? And we'll go back to the example, but take it as it resonates for you, right? Of taking care of parents, and maybe you watched someone, be stressed out or be burdened doing it, and maybe you're doing the same thing, and maybe your children are watching it. But what if you reframed it? Right? What if you actually reframed the context of it? Like, what if instead of saying it was a burden or it's a struggle and it's hard, what if you reframed it to, I know it's difficult, but it's an honor. And no matter how hard it is, I still show strength in doing it every day. And I love these people. They've been there for me or have done so much for me. And it's an honor to take care of them through this difficult time for them, right? And to relay that information to the, your children or whoever, when they say, well, isn't it difficult, Mama? Isn't it so hard, Dad, or whatever? Why do you do it? And I think if you were, reframed it to a perspective of achievement, that it could probably help you through it a lot, if not faster, a lot easier. Because this is about celebrating all that you've accomplished so far that maybe you're not giving yourself credit for. And, maybe as a kid, right, we're talking about the shadows with that confront card, right? The moon card. Maybe you accomplished a whole lot as a kid and it wasn't good enough, right? Maybe you had those parents that, if you weren't getting straight A's, then you could do better, right? Like, oh, you got a B, you should pick that up. You should be getting A's, it's like, you can't even celebrate the fact that you passed it. And it was a hard class, like you're lucky you didn't get a D, right? That you got a B is unbelievable. So, perspective, what are you not giving yourself credit for? Maybe you were taught that unless it's perfect, that you don't get credit, but, just because you didn't place first in the Olympics doesn't mean you didn't do a great job. You're performing in the fucking Olympics, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? So it's like, just because you didn't be perfect and outperform everybody else flawlessly and effortlessly, right, doesn't mean you didn't do an outstanding, amazing fucking job. So take time to celebrate your accomplishments and maybe not be so hard on yourself for it not being perfect, right? That was secret code name Tea Party. So moving forward. La Magique du Parfum, which is a rose, also called the Royal William. It's a red rose, and it apparently has this really powerful perfume type smell, right? This really powerful fragrance. And it gets pretty large. It's about 5 inches and 5.5 inches in diameter, these blooms. But when I got the secret code name, it was literally an English rose. And so I was like, okay, well, what is it? And so I asked Siri, I said, hey, Siri, what's an English red rose? Because that's what I was shown. And that's what came up, La Magique de Parfum, the Royal William. I believe it actually was a rose bred into manifestation the year Prince William was born, which is why it is also sometimes called the Royal William. So that may be significant for you. It may also, because La Magique de Parfum is the magic of perfume, right? It's a French wording. It's French words, La Magique de Parfum. And it's the magic of smell. And so you may be really drawn to certain fragrances right now. You may, if you are not currently, consider wearing some kind of essence, right? Whether it's essential oils or a perfume or whatever it is, to help your energy out, right? Putting it on your wrists or, on the pads of your feet and on your toes. Like there's certain different essential oils that are really good for that. You may want to take a bath with different oils or different salts, right? If you could take a salt bath, and kind of really embrace smells right now, especially rose, because it works with the heart chakra. Okay. The heart chakra, the root chakra, and some would argue the sacral chakra. Okay. So getting into La Magique de Parfum. Let's see, Spirit, what is going on that they need to be aware of, right, with this Heart of God manifest theme. What insight do they need, especially over the next couple weeks with this new moon, right? This really, really powerful new moon in Leo. What do they need to be aware of? This card flipped up as I was shuffling. I'm going to put it back in, but it's the 5 of Swords, and it's a win or lose card. Although, to be fair, the 5 of Swords typically ends up being a lose-lose situation because it's a fight to the death type energy, right? Winning at all costs. Instead of, finding a win-win, it's just, I want to win no matter what the cost. And that means someone else is losing, which ultimately ends up being a lose-lose. So what is going on, Spirit? Please, insight for La Magique de Parfum. First card out is the Empress. Venusian energy, right? So strong Taurus, strong Libra, and of course Venus is in Leo, so strong Leo energy as well. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot. Top of the deck is the Eight of Wands. All right. I think you want success and growth. Being on the top of the deck, that is something that you're consciously focused on. That may require you to make some serious moves, though. Okay. Coming into that inner union with yourself, self-nurturance, and maybe literal movement, right? Literal moving. All right. I've got the Seven of Cups reversed. I got the Hanged Man, which when it flew out of the deck, landed like it was upright, and then it landed straight, flat like this. And it could have either went right side up or upside down, and it went upside down. So I think that you're kind of teetering on seeing, but ultimately are not seeing something. And because it's Piscean energy, right, in reverse, the opposite of Pisces is Virgo. And you may be getting too caught up in the details, the mundane details, and missing the spiritual perspective of why you're in this pause, right? Because the Hanged Man can denote a pause. And so you may not be confused, right, with the Seven of Cups reversed, right? This is daydreams and decisions. I don't think you're confused about what it is you want to do. I don't think what you want to do is some fantasy, but you're still in this pause. And it's because you're too caught up, maybe too caught up in the mundane details of things. Or too focused on the soul draw that you have to someone. Too focused on the fact that there's some kind of soul connection there, and not realizing that it's past life related and it's familiar, but it's not necessarily the point or purpose. Because I think you've been putting in a lot of work to reach the heart of someone. Okay. With the Eight of Coin and the Three of Coin, I think you've been putting in a lot of work to have someone see how much you care about them. Like you've been working on that picture, right? Masculine and feminine in union right there is the picture being painted. But I feel like you're having a really hard time, right? I think you're putting your hand out for someone else's heart to kind of sit on. You're the one extending the energy, and they're just kind of sitting and doing nothing with it. I don't think they're reciprocating. Whoever you're dealing with, I think your dream comes true when you spread your wings, right? The Two of Wands is still a pause card. It's a pause card. And so, you know, I think you're being given a chance to truly define your dream, and recognize the happiness that you can kind of create on your own, because all of the nines in the deck are sovereign energy, if you really think about it, right? When we're in the Nine of Wands energy, it's this victim, last leg, right? Spiritually wounded kind of Chiron energy, where we've had enough and know that there's a little bit more that we need to do, but it feels very alone, right? Very alone and heavy. It's before we hit the 10 of Wands, which is that burden. Same thing with the 9 of Swords, right? It's this being caught up and over anxious inside our own minds. It's very sovereign, and it doesn't include anybody else. It's our own stress, right? Our own anxiety. The 9 of Coins is literally being single and sovereign. It's a pre-Empress card. And the 9 of Cups is no different, right? When we move forward from the 8 of Cups to achieve our dreams, is because we know all of the cups in front of us. Excuse me, we've tried every cup, right? We've tried every angle. We've dated all kinds of people, tried all kinds of different jobs, lived in different types of places, right? We tried all the different options of the 7 of Cups, realized none of them are really what we want, and move forward with the 8 of Cups to go find what is truly our fulfillment. And that's a solo mission. So I feel like whatever it is, or whoever it is that you've been working on, I feel like in order to create the masterpiece, and as an artist, I'll say this, because I love painting. I feel like sometimes you have to take a step back and get a more wide perspective, right? Sometimes when we're up close like this, we miss the bigger picture because we're so focused on a detail, right? We're so focused on a specific detail, and we really do have to come down, right? Come down and take a step back and really view it from a distance in order to see what it needs, what it really needs, before we could say, yes, it's complete, or a little bit more work is needed here or wherever, right? I think that, especially because I was kind of talking about this energy at the beginning during the cosmic alignments of the new moon, especially with Venus retrograding over the next, couple weeks still, that it's important to take a step back before you overwork it beyond saving or beyond repair, right? Sometimes it's better to take a step back before it reaches some kind of point of no return, right? It gets very difficult. Sometimes when we push relationship dynamics, romantic or otherwise, beyond their expiration date, so you may definitely want to go and look for your dream energy by spreading your wings and moving forward into your own light, right? Making choices sovereign of someone else, right? Sovereign from someone else. So this would be a great time to focus on what it is you actually want to receive. Okay. Don't let your ego, pride, or investment in someone else keep you from moving forward. Okay. No matter who they are. Guidance. Okay. What's the guidance, please, Spirit? Natural born leader and recognition, 11 and 33. You might want to go back and watch the cosmic alignments if you haven't already, and focus on that harmonic, that 11th harmonic that I was talking about, the triune style, because we've got 11 and 33 here. All right, really focusing on that energy. It says you were born to lead others. It's a part of your life's path. Someone deserves to be recognized for all that they do. and it's probably you. You need to be recognized for all that you do. Okay? Being a leader means leading by example. Teaching people, right? Like if something is not entirely healthy, or, you know, someone's not getting it and you need to walk away from them, it teaches them that they're able to do the same thing, right? If they're trying to help someone, teach someone, lead someone, and they're not fucking getting it, you know what I mean? That it's okay to leave toxic, right? Leading by example. So let me just read a little bit from this for you. It says, you have the natural ability to lead others. A true leader is not a dictator. A true leader is a person who leads through love, compassion, example, and integrity. He or she has concern for the greater good of all. Even if you have not fully stepped into this role, it is time for you to acknowledge your leadership abilities, right? This is not someone who has to persuade others. The person just naturally leads. Compare this to someone who is trying to be in control, using persuasion to get others to follow them for their own personal gain. This is not true leadership, right? Leading by example, doing what is in the greater good of all includes the self, right? You're not separate from that. Doing what's in the highest good of all, you are included in that, right? It has to be good for you, or it's not good for anybody. So the intuitive life coaching questions ask, what qualities do you have that make you a natural born leader? Do you feel worthy of leading others? If not, why is this? Okay. For recognition, right? Someone deserves to be recognized for all that they do. It says, many times in life, we block ourselves from receiving the recognition we deserve, or we forget to give proper recognition to the people who have played a key role in our lives. Someone around you, and maybe even you, deserves to be recognized for all that they do. This person is emotionally available, sincere, kind, compassionate, generous. Can you feel the gratitude and affection you have for them? Be willing to give thanks to those who are making a difference in your life and the lives of others. This card could also mean that you're about to be recognized as a professional in your field, especially if you've lately felt like you've been overlooked, taken advantage of, or underappreciated. All right. Feeling like this, yourself may be keeping you from receiving gratitude and praise. Okay. The intuitive life coaching questions ask, are you feeling taken advantage of or underappreciated? In what ways? How do your own feelings of unworthiness affect the way others treat you, and vice versa? When you're inside that mindset, or you're inside that mood, how do your own actions or behaviors change? Right? How do your own actions or behaviors change? And keep you from actually getting the recognition that you deserve. Right? A great example is being at a job and you do a great job. You're meticulous, you're on point, you're on time, you don't call out, you're an active player in the game, right? You work hard and you continue to be this way, and you're not getting any recognition from anybody higher up. You're not getting any kind of promotion or raise. You're not getting any type of gratitude, not even a thank you for all that you do. And you do this for, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 6 years even. And at some point you're just like, what the fuck am I busting my ass like this for? And you start to get discouraged and you start to feel underappreciated. And before you know it, you're fucking off a little bit. Maybe you clock in from your lunch a couple minutes late. Who cares? You know, maybe you leave a couple minutes early, and before you used to work 5 minutes over. You know, maybe you used to come in at 5 minutes early and now you're clocking in a minute or so late. You know, maybe you used to produce a lot of work and now all of a sudden you've slowed down, right? You've lost interest in the production. And it's because you're in this space of not feeling appreciated or grateful, in which case, you know, you've really got to ask yourself, especially because it's coming out with natural born leader, where do you lead by example? You know, where do you have this conversation with your boss even and say, you know what, like, I know that you could see the change in me. I don't know how you couldn't, you know, but if you didn't see how hard I was working before and how I was putting in my efforts before, after so much time of not even being recognized for anything I was doing, like, it wasn't worth it to keep working hard like that. Like, I know you want me to be a hard worker, and so I need some validation, you know, taking the lead on that conversation. And if they say to you, like, yeah, you were a hard worker, and no, your current behavior doesn't warrant recognition. And so we're not going to, you know, even appreciate what you did all the time that you were worth appreciating. Maybe it's time you find a new job, right? Take the lead and say, well, when you don't appreciate people, they burn out and then they go elsewhere, right? And this is what happens. You push people away by not validating their worth or the fact that they're who they are, just in general, right? It's a lack of respect at the very least. So whatever dynamic shifts that you're in, can you express what's being missed because it doesn't deserve to be missed, and then act accordingly, right? And then acting accordingly. Taking the lead and recognizing your own worth. Taking the lead and recognizing your own worth. All right, we're going to move forward. The next secret code name is Golden Meadow. And it's interesting because the way I saw the secret code name, Golden Meadow, the way Spirit visually gave it to me, it was almost like a sunset behind a meadow of like yellow cosmos or yellow daisies. Like, if you know what cosmos are, the flowers, right? Not the universe, but cosmos, the flower. It was all like these different yellow flowers, although they weren't sunflowers. They were these smaller, more delicate petaled flowers. And it had this crazy backlight of sun like flooding from behind them. And that's just the way I saw it. It was a huge meadow of just flooded golden light with all these yellow flowers. So yeah, take it as it resonates. If you were drawn to Golden Meadow, that's what I saw. All right. So let's see. Very Leo energy. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, lots of tall, delicate yellow flowers. I think cosmos get up to like 6 feet, something like that. They can get up to 6 feet tall. They have really feathery leaves. They're so pretty. What is going on? Insight, please, especially between this week and next week. Well, the next 2 weeks leading up to the full moon. For secret code name Golden Meadow. What is going on? Okay. Give me a clarity on that one. Okay. Solar plexus is on the bottom. 4 of Cups, opportunity beckons, is on top. Okay. So I think this is definitely about you having the courage to take an opportunity, right? Because the solar plexus is the underlying issue, and it has a lot to do with confidence and courage and overriding insecurities, right? Overriding insecurities, because I just did the mirror PSA. Insecurities forfeit dreams. Our insecurities, when we submit, we forfeit our dreams. Okay. So we've got the Hierophant with the 2 of Wands. Those are the first 2 cards out. And I think you're definitely teaching or have been teaching someone, and it's time to let them graduate, so to speak, right? At some point, the student moves forward either into the next level of education, right? Like grade school, elementary school, moves into, secondary school or high school. And then from high school, we go to college, right? University. And from college, we go to our master's program. So like, at some point, you have to accept that you can only spend so much time teaching someone before you have to let them move forward. Whether they passed with flying colors or could have done better, right? You still have to let them move forward. So I feel like that's kind of where you're at right now, because I feel like if you don't learn that lesson, you might find yourself stuck, right, and being taught, because the 2 of Wands can also be a pause, right? If you think about 2 wands, especially in traditional Rider-Waite, they're both sticking out the ground. It looks like a pause symbol, right? The play is the arrow, the forward arrow, and pause is the 2 bars. And so the 2 of Wands, we see the direction we want to head. We want to go in ahead of us, but we tend to stay a little stuck. And so you might be a little hung up on teaching someone and risk over teaching, right? Or overreaching, which comes out right here with the 3 of Coins reversed. It's reach out and reversed, and it's right next to dreams coming true and the embrace card. These 2 are right next to each other. I think you have to let yourself accept that whatever you were meant to teach, they learned it, whether you realize it or not. That they passed, right? That they passed whatever spiritual quote unquote grade they were in with you, that they passed. I think that whether you realize it or not, like, they're going to move forward and not forget you and the imprint that your energy and the experience they've had with you has left on them and has changed them. And that you have to wrap this up and stop persisting on the teaching. I think you have to embrace the fact that this person doesn't need you to reach out anymore, right? They don't need you to teach them anymore. They're ready to move on to the next teacher, whoever or whatever that is in their life, whether their next lesson is at a job or their next lesson is in another relationship, right? Or their next lesson is moving out of the home, like whatever it is, the lesson is no longer with you as their teacher. Okay. And I think that you have to take a leap of faith on letting them go. And the reason why you haven't yet is because your darkest fear, right, the 9 of Wands, is that you're going to be alone. Who do you teach if not them? Who are you with if not them? What purpose do you have if it's not them? Well, you won't know unless you let them go. You won't know unless you let them go. I know that that's hard, especially if you've taught them for a really long time, or you've been working with them for a really long time. Especially in the example of like kids, like we teach our kids for the longest time and then they're finally off to college and or they're off to their career, or they're off moving as a roommate with somebody else or whatever. And it's just like, they're no longer in your reality the same way that they were. And you don't know what to do with yourself. Like you don't know what to do with yourself. Like they were your student, you know what I mean? That was the energy that you were being called to invest in for a really long time. And, it's like when parents go through empty nest syndrome, they're like, oh my God, but it's like, what am I going to do with all my time? I'm going to feel so alone without them here, right? Parents feel super alone. And it's like, no, you'll find ways to spend your time. Like even my son and I were talking about that the other day. Like we don't mind living together. We live together very well. But at some point, even with him being an only child and having one parent, and me, he's my only child, and I'm not involved with anybody else in my life. Like he's the closest person to me. We both know that as much as we appreciate living together, we also both very much want to at some point be on our own, and I don't have to worry about being alone, and he don't have to worry about being alone. Like God knows I'm only a phone call away and he'll still always have a fucking room. You know what I mean? When he wants to visit, like if he just gets bored or doesn't feel like being alone in his house, like he can always stay for a night, it doesn't bother me. But I mean, the whole point of that is, it's at some point you're recognizing the fact that something or someone is moving forward. And that the only way you yourself can move forward is if you let them go along their path. Okay. I think when you're done, especially because this feeling alone card is the heart space looking at another house, like a house out there in the distance with the light in the doorway there. The door is open, right? I don't know if you guys can see that clear. That's a door or a window. I can't quite make it out. I always thought it was the door, but it's like, it looks like an open door. Could be a window, but it's almost like allowing yourself to receive, right, feminine energy, this feeling of where you're finally meant to be, because you've let go of the teacher role, that they're finally going where they're meant to be. That reflects as above and so below, inner as without. So, you allow yourself to receive where you're meant to be as well. Sometimes we're the teacher for so long, we forget that we're also the student. And that the whole time we were teaching them how to be free, we were learning the same thing, right? Wrapping up soul contracts, right? 3 of Coins reversed, letting it go. It's done, right? The World card, embracing the fact that it's done. You've done your part. You did a great job, right? You did a great job. They passed whatever they're moving towards and whatever influence you had on their forward movement. Like, you did a great job and they've graduated, right? It's time for them to move forward. So it's okay. You can let them move forward. Their next part of the journey, right? Especially our kids, they grow up, man. They go through phases. They go through phases and stages, you know? Like, even my son, like, being in high school, like, it's a big difference. It's a big difference from lower grades. They're involved with more people. It's a bigger school. Like, they're coming into their young adulthood, right? That transition around 12, 13, 14 years old, coming out of middle school, and they're moving into the beginning of, or the preface to their adult years. We relate to them differently, My son's a young man now more than anything. Or what's your guidance? What's your guidance? Old habits. An old habit may be keeping you from moving forward. Right? It's something that needs to be let go of. So let's see. Old habits. It says, the more you believe that you can't let go of something that no longer serves you, the more you give away your power. And when you do, Spirit asks, what are you waiting for? Because it's you who makes this choice. Indeed, the choice is yours. You can choose to let go of the old, worn out, destructive habits, or you can choose to let these bad habits consume you. When a habit is holding you back, it is keeping you from fulfilling your life's purpose, as well as keeping you from feeling good in your own skin. It's time to let go of anything that no longer serves you. Trust that you have the strength to let go of the old so you can bring in the new. Right? It says, let go of this weight so you can rise and shine. Change can be tricky. However, once you realize that this change is your choice, it transforms into something to look forward to. Something new and exciting, something refreshingly different. The life coaching questions ask, what is it time for you to let go of? Why might you be holding on to it? How would your life be better if you could allow yourself to let this go? Can you imagine how your life would be different, lighter, and brighter once you release it? Right. Old habits. Old habits. We had this solar plexus card on the bottom, right? Having the confidence and the courage to move forward, to not be insecure because it forfeits your dreams, and allow yourself, your darkest fear, to let go of this idea that you're going to be alone. When we make room, the universe fills it for us, right? When we allow the universe to make room, When we allow ourselves to make room, the universe fills it. So, you know, whatever it is that you're holding on to, that you have a habit of holding on to it, ask yourself those questions, right? All right. Okay. Next secret code name, Winter's Mark. Winter's Mark. Now, when I got the image of this, I heard the word mark pretty darn clear. But I was literally shown, which was so, and I even thought it in my head. I was like, that's so odd because we're in the middle of freaking summer here in the States. But I was literally flashed a winter scene, everything covered in snow. And there was marks like someone had driven through the snow. And I heard Winter's Mark. And it's like this trail or track that's left in the snow, right? Everything was frozen and covered in snow. The trees, fences that I saw, like like, you know how they have them double beam fences that go across, like where there's farms and horses and things, like they have that double beam. That's kind of what I saw. It was just everything covered with snow. And then there was this track kind of moving through the snow, and you could still see the track was there even with the snow, right? And I heard Winter's Mark. So that's the secret code name. All right, we're going to see if you were drawn to the secret code name, right, what it is insight wise that you need to know. It might be especially significant if in fact you are not in the States and it is winter where you are, right? Maybe winter where you are. So Winter's Mark. Let's see. Or if you're catching this at a future date, right? Just so happen to be drawn to it. Divine time, right? Always divine time. What insight do you need? Winter's Mark. All right, give me one more. Okay. We've got the 3 of coin on bottom and the World card on top. All right. So double 3s, right? Because the 21 breaks down to a 3. I think that you're very aware that a cycle is closing, or you're consciously wanting to close a cycle. Ooh, and the solar plexus is under that, so we got triple 3s. But I think that the challenge think you might be taking it out in the wrong direction. If that makes sense. Like, because I'm mad nosy on the bottom of this deck right now. I'm mad nosy. Like you might be wanting to close a certain cycle. Let's just say maybe you're frustrated with your job, right? And it's coming out as being frustrated at your job when maybe what you're frustrated with is your love life. And you're taking it out on your job and you don't want to be at your job anymore and your job is stupid, but really it's because you're frustrated with love. Right? Coming out in the wrong direction. And so it's like you want to close this chapter, but you're attempting to close it for the wrong reason, right? And I say that because I'm also looking at the rest of the spread, right? I've got the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Cups, and the 2 of Swords at the top of the message. So like those 3 cards came out first together. And I think that you're seeking truth. I think you know where you're robbing yourself and or you know where you're draining. But I think that you're aware of the fact that maybe you are your own drain, right? It's not necessarily something in the outer that's draining you so much as it's your own head, right? The different things spinning around inside your head, this Piscean energy with the 7 of Cups and this refusal to kind of see, or this inability, right? It could be an inability to see, especially because Saturn's in Pisces. Right? Saturn's in Pisces. And so it might be restricting your vision. And with Neptune in there, it may also be having a lot of illusionary or delusionary thoughts, unimportant perspectives, right? Or false perspectives kind of spinning around a narrative inside your mind. And you're kind of refusing to see. Like an example would be maybe you're single and you got a new job and you were really kind of hoping to meet somebody new, right, at your new job. And of all the people at your job, there is no one there that you're interested in or no one there that's interested in you. And you're like, what the fuck? You know, I was really hoping that I would meet somebody. And I pretty much have had every door to love slammed in my face here. And now you're tired of the job. You don't want to be at the job, you know, whatever. And it's not because the job is bad or the job is frustrating. It's because you got frustrated with love and are taking it out on the job because no one at the job was reciprocal, right? So, as an analogy, right? Just as an analogy, take it as it resonates. But I feel like that's kind of, what is going on. I think you're focused in a certain direction, but that's not necessarily the direction that you would be focused in, right? Maybe you're focusing on love, but you really do need to focus on money right now, which is why you're not finding love at work type thing. It could, of course, be the other way around. Maybe you're in a relationship. Maybe you're hoping you and your partner can work together. Maybe you're hoping you and your partner can start your own business, or you and your partner could work at the same place, or, you know, you and your partner could share some kind of experience and it's just not working out, right? Maybe there's just no position at their job open, or you just don't have the ability to start your own business with your partner right now. And so you have to stay at this job or you have to go back to school or whatever. And you can't do what you want. You know what I mean? And you're getting frustrated with your partner, you know, and your relationship is struggling because, you know, the work isn't working out the way you want with them. So it could be the opposite, but, you know, take whatever, you will know what kind of situation it pertains to with you if you were drawn to the secret code name, right? But I think you're kind of refusing to see how the universe not giving you what you want with the Six of Coins reverse, right? Because the Six of Coins, spirit is the abundance that gives. If spirit's not giving it to you, it's to trigger you to see some kind of childhood wound, right? Some kind of shadow from your youth, right? Something that has not been healed up yet, that your shadow is in the way of the door, right? Your shadow is blocking the way. And this Ace of Pentacles, I think you have to strengthen this bond within your own self, your own feminine energy, your ability to receive and feel deserving to move forward. And instead of, you know, maybe looking at this door, because this door is blocked by triggers, maybe go a completely different way. You know what I mean? And then find a pathway that is not already carved out in stone, right? That this doorway is already there in stone. Maybe you have to create your own path, you know, in some which way, shape, or form. Relay a solid foundation, for yourself. Like you're being blocked from whatever it is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, for a reason. Spirit wants you to see. Right? Spirit wants you to see. We have the Hanged Man, which is the Observe card, right underneath this refuse to see. So, I mean, Spirit does want you to see something from their perspective. We've got the 4 seasons here. The 4 feminines in the corner. One is spring, one is winter, one is summer, and one is fall. So there's literally all 4 seasons here. And I feel like maybe you're losing sight of the energy of temporary. Like it's all temporary, you know, like it's just, instead of getting frustrated with it and wanting to, you know, lash out or can be confrontational with the creation, right? That you're trying to control it. We have the Strength card here, which is control, and the sacral chakra with the 5 of Swords here. I think you're trying to control the creation, you know, win or lose, and losing sight of the fact that you need to fucking surrender. Surrender to what is, right? Saturn is in Pisces, and I feel like that's playing a big role, especially because the 2 major arcana out here right now are Piscean. The 2 major arcana out here right now are Piscean. I mean, given we have Leo's energy here, but it's the new moon in Leo, okay? This could be really significant if you've got Pisces on the midheaven, or if you've got Pisces in the 7th house, right? Something like that. Or 5th house. But yeah, I'm feeling like you're getting frustrated. And the reason why you're getting frustrated is because Spirit really does want you to identify what the actual trigger is. It's not what you think it is, right? You might be taking it out, like I said, on a job, but it's because you're actually disappointed in the romance department, or vice versa. Like you're not upset with or frustrated with what you think you're frustrated with. There's a hidden, right, Piscean energy. There is a hidden trigger behind it. And I think this is about you identifying the trigger and seeing where it stems from, right? Seeing where it stems from and why you would risk robbing yourself of it, right? With the 7 of Swords that kind of led the spread. What are you at risk of losing because you are feeding into this trigger. Especially if there's some kind of maternal wound there. And I say that because the moon card, moon is maternal. And so is the sacral chakra, right? Because the sacral chakra is literally the vessel, the creative womb. Yeah, I feel like the universe isn't giving you what you want. And it's because it wants, it's triggering you on purpose so that you can understand where the trigger is coming from, so that you could face it, confront it, heal it, and then you can move forward, right? Then you can move forward. But it's not going to let you until you face what it is that you're afraid of. And to be fair, I think you're afraid of success. You might seriously be afraid of succeeding. You might be afraid of love and be used to being alone. You might be used to, feeling like you've lost it and not being inspired even further, Maybe you've never really felt like you've won at life. Maybe you've been through this hard knock life for such a long time, and you're looking at the trigger of not getting what you want like a hard knock. Maybe you're looking at it and you're looking at it like it's a hard knock. That's what I'm getting. And it's not, like you're used to things not working out for you. You're used to life being really fucking hard and never getting what you want. And I think you're at this point where maybe the universe works a little bit slower than you would like, but that doesn't mean it's not working for you. And I think that you might just need to pause before you become irrational or do anything to sabotage your own dang self, feeling like you're not worthy because you've never been worthy and you've never gotten what you wanted, and life keeps punishing you and life keeps being hard on you, when maybe that's been true every other time, but it's not true this time. I think the universe wants you to see that you are deserving and that you can make it and survive through the winter, right? This is winter's mark. You might be walking through some really deep snow, and yet if you follow the marks, right, if you follow the trail left through the snow, it's not that deep there. I think spirit is giving you a way through. It doesn't mean it's not bleak. It doesn't mean it's not cold. It doesn't mean it's not harsh conditions. It doesn't mean you're not, struggling or whatever, but it's not going to let you get stuck in the snow, right? It still left its mark. It still gave you a path to follow. And I think that you're moving through some rather difficult energy. But this is where you get really fucking adamant, it's like where you get really stubborn and adamant in the face of what is essentially not being nourished by experience, and refusing to fucking die in it, like refusing to die in the energy, refusing to submit to the energy and just sit in the cold and freeze over. It's like, no, I'm going to get to where I'm going. I'm going to follow the path. It's easier to follow the path through the snow that's already been cut through. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to get to where I'm going. I'm going to warm up. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to receive whatever I need to receive. I'm going to survive this cold spell with the universe, right? You're being tested and on your will, and your determination to overcome rough conditions instead of submitting to them and just being, well, life sucks and it's too hard and I never get to where I want to be. So I'm just gonna freeze right where I'm at and let it take the life out of me, and it's not about freezing. It's about pressing on and surviving, you know what I mean? And really getting through this, whatever this is for you. Okay. Especially if you're dealing with a mother wound, right? So you had a particularly harsh or difficult mother that you would sabotage yourself or give up before you even really give where you're going a chance, right? What's the guidance, please, Spirit? Like, you got this. You could do this. Like I was saying it the other day in the mirror PSA video that I loaded. The only way you lose is if you quit. It's the only way you lose. You could be so close to throwing it in and giving up, going back to the whole analogy of the situations, if you were at a new job and looking for love and didn't find it, for all you know, there's a new person getting hired in 3 months and you just got to stick it out 3 months. If you were looking to work with a partner and that position's not opening, for all you know, a position opens next week. You don't fucking know. But if you get frustrated and choose a different path, or you don't keep at it, or don't do something else beneficial in the meantime, right? And be resourceful or solution oriented, and you're just kind of sitting there frozen and freezing, not taking action or doing anything, not making progress, well, it's going to be really difficult. But at the end of the day, the spring still comes. No matter how treacherous the winter is, spring shows up. Like, I don't think that you can do without it. It's just how crazy do you want to drive yourself? Like, it's temporary. Seasons are temporary. They switch, they change. You don't need to go fucking crazy. You just need to be fucking patient. You just need to be patient and do what the fuck you need to do so that you can get to where you're going, and really, really be solution oriented and be as optimistic about it as you can, right? Be optimistic about it as you can. Spring always follows the winter, no matter what, right? You're going through a period in life that it's felt like a fucking winter. I get it. I get it. Sometimes we move through life and it feels like we're in the bleak winter of life, but spring shows up, Some of us, we go through winter spells where we feel like we're in the dead of winter for fucking years. And we forget that spring exists until all of a sudden the temperature starts to ease off and we see a fucking flower bud on a tree. And we're like, holy shit. Holy shit. I forgot spring existed, right? I've been in this nuclear freaking winter of life for forever now that I forgot the beauty of spring and what that looks like. And spring shows up before you know it, Spring shows up before you know it sometimes. If you deal with heavy seasons, like, especially here in the States, like, January is fucking rough, man. It is the coldest. By the time we get to February, we're all fucking over it, dude. Like, we're over it. Winter, we're fucking over it. We want the spring to come, and March will tease the shit out of us, and then it gets fucking freezing again, and we're like, damn it. And then April comes, and it's like, finally the spring is here, and once it's here, it doesn't go back. You know what I mean? So it's like, enjoy the process of seeing the strength of you, right? Because in the winter, that's where you really see the strength of yourself when you've got nothing but your own energetic reserves to move forward from, right? Your energy is all the energy you've got, and you're chugging through it, and you'll make it there. You know, you're going to see that the strength you have within you can get you through it. It's enough, right? It's enough. So your guidance card, it says it's shooting star. You are a shooting star. You are about to step into your fullest potential. Card number 30. So it says, you are a shooting star about to step in your fullest potential. This is the moment you have been waiting for. It's go time. You have acquired all the knowledge you need to pursue your dreams, and you are emotionally mature enough to handle it. The only thing left for you to do is to believe in yourself and take that leap. You have something special to offer the world. Dream big and reach for the stars. What you are about to step into is you at your fullest potential. You are ready, and your unique abilities are needed now. You have all the resources necessary for this full expression, even if you don't think you do. The shooting star card is an undeniable sign from your guides and angels. Yes, they are saying, you can do this. It's time to get out there and touch the lives of many with your unique gifts and abilities. Open your arms wide as you say to the universe, put me where I'm needed most. Put me where I can be of most service. Then sit back and get ready for your life to take off in a completely new direction. You can do it, and the sky is the limit. The intuitive life coaching questions ask, what is the next right action for you to take for your highest good and your fullest expression of you? What dreams do you have that are ripe for action? How can you begin to make them a reality? What is within your control? What is within your power to do? When you're not stressing about what's beyond your control, what is within your control? What is within your control? Think on that one. Instead of focusing on all the things that you do not have control over. You don't have control whether or not this position is open or not. You don't have control whether or not this person that is the love of your life is ready for you now or not. You don't have control over any of that. You do have control over your mood. You do have control on what jobs you apply to. You do have control over whether or not you go into work looking like you just rolled out of bed, or if you actually take the time to fix yourself. God knows I was having that argument with myself before I went live. I was like, Grace, you're fucking tired. You've been through some crazy shit, right? Energetically tuning into the collective today. You've gone through some crazy gamuts of emotion, and you don't feel like getting ready. Maybe you could just throw your hair up in a bun and throw some lip gloss on, right? And call it what it is. And I sat there and said, no. No. Leo would not have me come on there looking like a Sagittarian ragamuffin. So I did my hair and I put some makeup on and said, All right. now we are in the right energy, and so it's kind of like that, like, yes, you can just wake up and roll out of bed and do bare minimum. And maybe if that's all the energy you've got to do, then that's what you do, right? It's better than not rolling out of bed and getting up at all, right? People who, and as we get into like a small kind of rant side message, depression is a real thing, and it's very difficult to get motivated, especially when you are focusing on all that is beyond your control and it's not wonderful things, right? It's really easy to get sucked down that energetic rabbit hole. People you love are having a hard time. They're struggling. They're upset. They don't want to live anymore. And you're trying to be the support for them. And it's really difficult not to feel that weight. People in Hawaii are dealing with death and suffering, and it's not really being covered like it should, and there's not support there like it could, should, would be. And it's frustrating. And as humanity, we've got fires in Canada too. Like, it's been so far spread. Like, it's just, the world is dealing with a lot. We had those earthquakes over there, and was it Turkey not that long ago, right? We have the war still going on with Russia and Ukraine. Like, there's so much going on in the world, and then we have all of this fucking, gender dysphoria shit. God bless you all. I love you all, but damn it, like, as a fucking biological female, it pisses me the fuck off to see men taking women's titles and breaking women's records in the world. Like, it makes me fucking crazy. What, because you don't want to fail and you don't want to be, like, up against harder, more trained, whatever men competition, you want to come and go up against women and take their fucking titles? It makes me fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And I don't get political on my channel often, so forgive me. We are end ranting. But it's very easy to be overwhelmed by things, angered by things, down about things, depressed by things that are beyond your control. I cannot not roll out of bed because some John, Dick, or Harry decided they wanted to be Joanna or Diana or Harriet. I don't even play sports. None of the records being broken are mine. It is someone else's battle. It is someone else's battle. I am responsible for my own battles. My battle, legit, is nothing compared to that. My battle was whether or not I did my hair and makeup for this live. That was my battle today. Every other battle that I was upset about was just literally distracting me from the one that was mine. Strength and support to all women out there. Real biological women. Bless y'all. Reality check to all you biological women out there supporting this fucking madness. It's fucking madness. I was listening to someone talk about it. You don't see women, biological women, who transed over into men, right, being men. You don't see them fighting to be and participating in male sports. You don't see them trying out for the football team to play in the NFL. You don't see them wanting to go into the ring with men UFC fighting. Why? Why? Because at the end of the day, there are legit anatomy, like physiological differences between men and women no matter what the body parts look like, no matter what the clothes you're wearing are, no matter what makeup you do or don't have on your face, what hair you do or don't have on anywhere on your body. There are legit physiological differences. Women are not going in there and saying, nope, I want to play football and UFC fight with biological men. Even if they are trans men. They're not doing it. So why the fuck should we have biological men as trans women in women's fucking sports? Physically going up against biological women. It is not the same. It is not the same. It is not the same. I totally encourage you to be yourself. No matter if you're a biological man, biological woman, trans woman, I encourage you to be your authentic self. But let's not get caught up so hardcore in the fantasy of being what we're not, that we lose sight of what is fair. Legit fair. Seriously, that, if I see one more fucking video, like literally Canada, and this is what triggered me. One of the many triggers. Canada had weightlifting, the women's weightlifting record broken by a trans woman. Biological male, trans woman, broke the record by 200 kilograms. Now, if I were the weightlifting champion, the female weightlifting champion, and I had that record and some fucking dude broke my record, I'd be fucking furious. I'd be fucking furious. That's just me. Because I can't imagine how many hours that woman trained. I can't imagine what kind of drive and dedication she had to maintain. I can't imagine what kind of relationships she had to sacrifice in order to achieve that record. And a biological man just was like, bloop, broke it by a landslide. Go fuck off. Go fuck off. Respectfully. You want to compete with people of your own biological gender. You don't need to be in fucking women's sports as a biological male. Fucking makes me insane. Makes me insane. You know what? That might be the first fucking political shit I've ever brought on my channel, and I don't take it back neither. I don't take it back neither. Y'all, I'm gonna go get ready for fucking bed. I'm gonna get ready for bed. I got work tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate y'all for sticking around and listening to my rants. But, you know, if you didn't get the memo, right, I was doing arts and crafts, trying to relax my fucking head, thinking about this shit. And I was like, welcome to the channel where we care just a little bit more about your healings than your feelings. So, yeah. God bless you all. Spirit, universe, spirit, whatever, bless you all. I'm praying for humanity. I'm praying for humanity. I'm praying for the world. Like, some of this shit just makes my eyes want to pop out of my fucking head. You know, like I'm literally asking myself as a straight edge person, why the fuck I'm not drinking. We've got shit like this going on in the world. I'm like, Grace, you're fucking sober. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to get stoned? Are you sure? Oh my god, I'm gonna go have some coffee. I'm gonna go eat some chocolate. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna do some arts and crafts. I'm not gonna drink today, Spirit. Not today, Satan. Not today. Not today. Go fuck off. All right. I love y'all. I'm out.